Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another live session, and we have with us SOAR STEM Counsellor, Zahra Sikander. She's going to be one of our trainers for our upcoming training session on the single national curriculum. Zahra, can you give us a brief introduction of yourself?
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well.
Thank you so much for having me here. Well, for being a little brief introduction, I'm just working as a teacher and counselor at SOAR STEM. I was an educationist. I wanted to be an educationist in starting, but I was an economist. I started off as an economist. I started working. Yeah, but deep down in my heart, I always felt like I should be an educationist. I had a lot of problems with our education system, so I tried to study more and more about our education system, different paradigms which the other countries are following right now, where we are standing, where they are standing. So after 2-3 years, I started my interest grows in education, and then I shifted my the whole thing.
You changed careers.
Yeah, I changed my career from as an economist to educationist, and since 4 years, it's been 4 years now. I'm working as an educationist, as a counselor, because I realize that our students, children need counseling a lot. They don't know where to go, they don't know what to do once they have the degrees and all. So that's why I took this initiative, and I'm loving this.
Oh, that's excellent. It's confusing for students. It's confusing for young people.
Because unfortunately, the system in our country is not that helpful for students. They don't have counselors, they don't have guiding principles, where to lead, where to go. If some student they like arts, but they don't want to pursue that. Why? Because their parents don't want that. So students get confused. They don't know what to do. The counseling is very important at this stage, especially at the secondary years education or the primary educations. We start from that. So we start their counseling from the primary stage that, okay, you like arts? We just tell them to focus on arts. You like maths? Focus on maths. You like robotics? You like computer sciences? So we try that students focus on their primary subject the most. So that's what we are doing these days.
Oh, great. Well, which gives me a great segue into our topic for today. I love it when my guests do half my work for me. The single national curriculum. So the situation that you're describing is one that I'm sure every principal, every teacher, every student, every educationist in general is aware of. It's confusing. And the single national curriculum, from what I understand about it, seems to be a step in fixing that, in remedying that situation, in alleviating all of these problems. So the SNC, the single national curriculum, doesn't seem to refer to just curriculum. The scope seems really, really large. So it doesn't seem to, it's like a blanket term which covers a lot more than just one aspect of education. So can you explain, just so that our audience can understand, and I can understand as well, what will the SNC be like in its very final manifestation?
So first of all, we know that right now the situation of our curriculum is people think that the curriculum are the books. Books does not represent our curriculum. Curriculum is a very vast subject, you can say, so which we need to understand as a school, managers, principals, and teachers. We need to understand. So what this curriculum has been introducing us, and what this SNC has introduced, is about the naturalistic approach as well. So they are focusing on naturalistic approach, critical thinking, holistic approach. So they have covered the whole dynamics in it. So they wanted to integrate everything all together, so that student is not just memorizing. They are not just memorizing the topics. Even the SNC is giving us the guidelines to write everything, it's giving the guidelines to the publishers to write the books in a way that students does not get a chance to memorize the topics. So the whole dynamics have changed in this curriculum. So what I like, they have introduced inclusive education. There is a part of inclusive education, holistic approach. They are trying to bring the equity in education. So SNC right now is, though it's in its first stage, and I believe it's going to be a success. First stage has already been completed. Our Prime Minister has officially introduced SNC that okay, grade 1 till 5 are going to follow this, the whole the best thing is that whole nation is going to follow this one thing. It has removed the discrimination, it has removed the differences which we're creating because of the previous curriculum. Plus the one thing, it was like around, the previous curriculum was introduced in 2006. So since 2006 we were following the same curriculum. There are a lot of things changed, technology has evolved, like a lot of things have changed in the world.
Of course.
Environment, global warming, if they have focused on everything, we need to focus on civics as well. So they have integrated everything from environment, ICT, from you can say civics, values, everything is there in the SNC. So first phase, this was the first phase. Now they have started working on the second phase.
Okay, so what did the first phase involve, and what is the second phase going to now involve?
Basically, first phase was for like till grade 5. For all these things, so because they knew that children needs to focus on values, ethics, tolerance, acceptance. There are a lot of things. Then there is ICT, the mathematics, this concepts of science. They have like so deep. They're like so deep. If students till grade 5 would be able to cover those topics, so in like their senior years, middle years, it's going to be very helpful for them for their knowledge. So they are not focusing on like just, you know, there is a difference in knowledge and there is a difference in education. So they are focusing on learning, knowledge, so that students come out of the whole previous paradigm. So phase 2 is going to be for middle years. The document has already been like uploaded on the internet, but the working is going to be started. So that's going to be phase 2.
The implementation.
Yes, the implementation would be till next year, hopefully. And then it would come to phase 3. That is for grade 9, 10, first year and second year. That makes 9, 10, 11 and 12.
I see.
So this is going because it's not just like we focus on primary years. So what if the students also need those holistic things? They need to work on their critical thinking the most in their senior years. So gradually they're going there, and they have developed everything according to that. It's a very brief document if you need to study it. So there are a lot of things, and hopefully it's going to help a lot.
It's something that's going to touch on all levels of education.
Yes.
It's not just for kids.
Yes.
It's for young adults.
Yes.
It's for teenagers.
It's for everyone. That's why we say that this is the curriculum for everyone. That's in Urdu. They write Nisab Sabka. So that means that it's for all. Starting from grade 1 or from the early years as well. Primary and then middle and then the senior secondary year students. That's how they're going to do it.
Excellent. I'm going to go back to something you mentioned in the beginning. You were mentioning the different approaches that the single national curriculum is going to introduce towards education, and you mentioned the phrase. You said a naturalistic approach.
Yeah.
Could you explain a bit more about what that means? Because it's the first time I'm hearing of it, and it just piqued my curiosity. So.
Naturalistic approach, I'll give an example. We are studying a book in Pakistan, okay? We are reading everything, but the scenarios and the examples we get it from like, let's say USA, UK, Japan, China. So our kids which are like sitting here, which are playing in the area, which are living in these streets, they don't know about their streets. They get the examples of like other countries. So how would they incorporate that? Like sometimes the situations don't match. So they have tried to bring that in. Like even if somebody is writing books, I have read the books, so they have started like using examples of Pakistan. So it's all about nation, it's all about Pakistan. It's nationalism, they have promoted nationalism as well. So it's all about, you know, the kid should feel that, okay, this is my scenario. I feel that, I do that every day. If they're talking about manners, the kid should understand while reading the book that, okay, this is what I do, this is wrong. So the examples and everything, real life examples, so that's what they have tried to incorporate.
That's very interesting, because that actually puts me in mind of the kind of books that I used to read when I was young. They were like ladybird books or ladybug books, in which they were about two kids, Pat and Jane or Peter and Jane or something. And I would read them very voraciously. I was a voracious reader. And then I'd step outside and I was like, well, I don't see a Pat or Jane. I see a Hassan and a Hira.
That's what it is.
It's this kind of thinking. I'm just hypothetically, theoretically speaking.
Yeah.
I'm no expert on this, but I imagine that this would cause like a good deal of cognitive
Yes.
dissonance
Because
in children because
if
they're
they
reading
want-
about one
yeah,
thing.
that's what they are reading about it. They should know. They should feel it. So it's not like just okay. They're bored and everything. When they think that okay, this is our example. We do that every day. This happens in our home. It happened in our neighborhood yesterday, something like that. So this is very important because kids should feel realistic. It should be realistic, and it should feel like kids know that okay, yeah, this is something we also understand. They like to read things like that. So they give, even in the class, they give examples like that. If you give your example, if I'm teaching something and I relate them to myself, they start giving examples of their life as well, and they relate automatically. So if we are doing it in the classes, why not having it in a curriculum as well?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Absolutely. So the SNC, it's been something that's been in the works for a long time. So can you explain a little bit? We've already touched on it somewhat previously, but can you explain a bit more in detail about the circumstances that necessitated its design and its current implementation?
So basically, the previous, if we like compare the two curriculums, like the previous curriculum we are using and the current curriculum, the SNC. So the whole scenario is going to change, as I have talked that before as well. So there are a lot of things which they have incorporated in this thing, which is going to lead our students in a better stage. So definitely, once they'll try to understand everything, it's going to incorporate critical thinking, as I've mentioned earlier as well. So once the student is doing everything, it's not just like reading or writing. They have eliminated those elements. So it's like hands-on activity based, okay, everything. So what is going to happen next is definitely right now everything is confused about it. What we are going to do, how we are going to manage, and how we are going to incorporate it, and what our kids are going to do. The books are totally changed, but it's a good thing. It's a very good thing that the step has been taken by the government. Okay, so like leading or keeping aside all the political views and everything. So being an educationist, I believe that this was the best thing which has been done. So the circumstances which it's going to create, it's if our kids are very they're working on their knowledge and everything. So skilled labor, that's the major thing. That's a very economically speaking, the skilled labor is a very it's the thing that we lack the most. So this is what we are going to get the most. Number one thing. And then after that, if your labor is skilled, if everybody knows what they are doing, our students won't rush outside. Everybody tries to leave the country and go abroad for like better opportunities. It's going to create better opportunities. Even it has started creating opportunities, because once the teacher starts getting trainings as well, the government is giving training, schools are providing trainings to their teachers. Obviously, it's increasing their skills. It's going to help them in future as well. It's not just for kids, it's for like faculty members, educationists as well. So everybody is, if you think like in a bigger picture, everybody is going to get benefits from it. So with trainings and everything, we lack skill. Unfortunately, we lack skilled staff, skilled teachers. Yes, we lack skilled teachers as well in education department. So this is going to help them a lot in their teaching practices. It's going to help students and their learning practices as well. I'm sure they're going to enjoy this, because I know the subjects. We all know that kids run from Islamiyat, kids run from social studies, general knowledge. They prefer maths and science. Why? Because they learn something different in those subjects, and they feel like the Islamiyat and social studies and subjects like that, they're like just memorization. We have to memorize the dates and everything. But they have eliminated everything from that curriculum. There are no like, they told the publisher that okay, you focus on the events rather than focusing on the dates. It's a huge thing. I'm like, if I'm at this stage, till my graduation, we have learned and we have focused on the dates and history and all.
Absolutely, the same here.
Yeah, we used to hate that. We used to hate that subject. Why? Because we have to memorize the dates. Kids used to ask me why we have to do this. What it has to be like? what's the link with us? Why we should study this? But now I'm sure that kids are going to learn what's going to be in the books and what the themes and all. Well, definitely we are going to have a training on it, and everyone would get to know about SNC more and clarity in the training. And if they have any confusion, that will be like clear in the training regarding their subject matter specifically. So I'm sure teachers are going to enjoy this as well.
And what you said about how students tend to avoid certain subjects and they tend to go towards other subjects, I imagine that this is also because there's just a general dearth of work opportunities in Pakistan.
Yes,
That's where it stems from.
Yes.
Because this is why every other person, and it's been this way for a long time, that engineer, doctor, lawyer. And this is all that's open to you.
Why my interest in STEM education was most because of the whole scenario which we are in right now. That STEM is totally different from that. They focus on hands-on learning. They focus on their knowledge, robotics. They do teach Islam, social studies, and other subjects, but like a fun thing, not like just like just memorize. They go to the labs. They watch the documentaries, they just do the experimental things and all, they make presentations, and they're easy to give the exams. So there is a difference, a little difference, which should not be in any education system, which we are having right now, because there is a hierarchy, unfortunately. Lower cost primary schools, then there are higher cost private schools, there are public schools, there are madrasas. So if everybody comes at one page, this is what SNC is bringing, the unity, the uniformity.
The boundaries will disappear.
Yes, the boundaries would disappear. They are going to bring uniformity in every, they're just going to, combine everything. So if everybody would be at the same page, everybody would know that, okay, that's how we have to teach our kids. To make them understand, to not make them bored, why this class. Even sometimes it happens that kids are like, oh God, it's Urdu class, or oh God, again social studies lesson. They do things like that. It depends on you, how you are going, other than books.
How you're imparting that knowledge in a way that they enjoy.
Yes, they enjoy that. So if teachers now the education is really start taking help from the books, it's going to help them a lot. So this is what all SNC is about, and they'll definitely learn about it.
And I was just, while you were talking about rote memorization, I was put in mind of this this syndicated comic strip that I was reading, Calvin and Hobbes. In it, there's this one strip where this kid, he's sitting for an exam, and one of the questions in the exam is, can you tell us tell us the date when the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock, it's an American history thing.
Yeah.
And he wrote down, I believe it was 1817, and then immediately after writing that down, he wrote, as you can see, I have memorized this useless fact long enough to answer this question, and now I'm going to completely forget it. So you have taught me nothing except how to cynically manipulate the system.
This is the reality. This is what it is. And I believe everybody hates the fact. It's not just here, maybe it's like in other countries as well. History, people think history is about dates. History is about events. It's about how you relate to the previous life, how you relate to the people living in the past. So if you incorporate that, if you're able to incorporate that, you're done and your job is done. And I would say that you've done a great job if your kids are enjoying that. So in a way, it's not just, I would say that it's not just about books. So curriculum does not just, as I said in the earlier, curriculum is not just about books.
Of course.
It's about the whole scenario, what is happening around the kids. So we have to take care of everything. And SNC is focusing on that more.
It's focusing on just completely changing the
environment
around children.
Yes, they have given the instructions in SNC that do not just use this thing. You have to incorporate these. They have given a list of activities. They have given suggestions for that use these, incorporate these in your books, in your lessons. So that's a very helpful thing for teachers, I believe.
So on the note that SNC is looking like something that properly done is going to help solve a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So on that note, we're going to end the session here. I would like to thank you very much, Zahra, for
It was very
coming
nice
here
having
today
this session with you.
and speaking to our audience. We'll be a lot of our viewers, I believe, will be seeing you again on Saturday as well, when you'll be training them with hands-on activities. Saturday, 21st August at UMT. I'd also like to mention that during this training session on the SNC-based curriculum, we're going to have a very special announcement relating to DKS. So that is also something everyone can look forward to. It'll be made public after the training session. So again, Zahra, thank you so much for coming. It was a very enjoyable session.
Thank you as well. Thank you.
And with that, everyone, have a good day.